80% of Americans pay income tax every year. The wealthiest 1%, almost none of them do. Not because they hide money, not because they cheat the system, because they learned 3 words that changed everything. Buy, borrow, die. This is the strategy your bank will never teach you. Your accountant probably doesn't mention it, and the people using it, they don't talk about it either. Today, we're going to change that. Here is how ordinary people build wealth. They work, they earn income, they pay tax on that income. Then they invest what's left. Every dollar they make, the government takes a cut first. Federal tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. By the time they invest, they are already starting with 60-70 cents on the dollar. Now here is how the ultra-wealthy do it. They don't earn income. They own assets. Step 1, buy. They buy assets that appreciate. Real estate, stocks, private equity, businesses. Assets that grow in value every year without generating taxable income. A stock going from $10 to $100. That is not income. Not until you sell it. And here is the secret. They never sell. Step 2, borrow. When they need cash, they don't sell their assets and pay capital gains tax. They go to the bank and borrow against them. A billionaire with $500 million in stock walks into a bank and borrows $50 million at 2 or 3% interest. That loan is not income. It is not taxed. They spend the $50 million. They live on it. They invest it. They buy more assets. And their original $500 million keeps growing. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, all 3 have borrowed billions of dollars against their stock holdings. Not because they needed the money, because borrowing is cheaper than selling, and selling means taxes. Step 3, die. This is where it gets extraordinary. When a wealthy person dies, their assets pass to their heirs. And something called the stepped-up basis resets the cost of those assets to whatever they are worth at the time of death. Which means every single dollar of appreciation, every gain built over a lifetime, gone, tax-free, forever. The loan gets repaid from the estate. The assets transfer to the next generation. And the cycle begins again. Buy, borrow, die. 3 generations of wealth, and not a dollar of income tax paid on the appreciation. Now you understand why Warren Buffett, worth over $100 billion, paid an effective tax rate of less than 1% for years. He wasn't hiding money. He was using the system exactly as it was designed. The system was not built for people who earn wages. It was built for people who own assets. So, what does this mean for you? You don't need to be a billionaire to start thinking this way. Every dollar you invest instead of spend is a dollar that can work without being taxed until you choose. Every asset you hold, real estate, index funds, equity in a business, grows without a tax bill until you sell. The goal is not to earn more. The goal is to own more, to borrow smart, and to build something worth passing on. Buy, borrow, die. 3 words that separate the people who build generational wealth from the people who simply work their whole lives and wonder why they never get ahead. Now you know the difference. Sovereign wealth. Elon Musk borrowed $40 billion and paid 0 income tax on it. Jeff Bezos borrowed against his Amazon stock for years, while his wealth kept compounding untouched. Warren Buffett, worth over $100 billion, paid an effective tax rate of less than 1% for years on record. None of them broke the law. None of them used offshore accounts. None of them did anything that isn't available right now to anyone who understands 3 words: buy, borrow, die. But here is what most videos about this strategy get wrong. They tell you what billionaires do and then leave you thinking, well, that's great for them. So today, we are going to do something different. We are going to walk through exactly how this strategy works at every level, starting with where you are right now. Because the same principles Elon Musk uses to borrow $40 billion are the same principles someone with $20,000 in credit can use to build $100,000 in assets. The scale is different. The strategy is identical. Let's start from the beginning. Most people have been taught one way to build wealth: work harder, earn more, save the difference. And that works slowly, because every dollar you earn gets taxed before you can invest it. Earn $100,000. The government takes 30 to 40% first. You invest what's left. You are always starting behind, always building with 60 cents on the dollar. The wealthy figured out something different. They stopped trying to earn their way to wealth and started owning their way there. Because assets that grow in value are not taxed until you sell them. And the wealthy never sell. Step 1. Buy. Buy assets. Not things, not liabilities. Assets. An asset is anything that grows in value or generates income without you trading your time for it. Stocks, real estate, a business, intellectual property, a stake in something that will be worth more tomorrow than it is today. Now here is where most people stop and say, I don't have money to buy assets. But here is the truth. Most people don't realize. You probably already have more assets than you think. Do you have equity in a home? That is an asset. Do you have a retirement account? That is an asset. Do you have a car that's paid off? That is an asset, a depreciating one, but still collateral. Do you have a skill, a trade, a profession, knowledge that you could package into a service business? That is a potential asset. Do you have good credit? That is one of the most powerful financial assets most people completely ignore. Credit is not just a score. In the hands of someone who understands this strategy, credit is a tool to acquire assets without using your own cash. And we are going to come back to that in a moment, because this is where the everyday version of this strategy begins. Step 2. Borrow. When Elon Musk needs cash, he doesn't sell Tesla stock and pay capital gains tax. He walks into a bank, pledges his stock as collateral, borrows at 2 to 3% interest. The loan is not income. It is not taxed. His stock keeps growing while he spends the borrowed cash. This is called a securities-backed line of credit. But here is the version that is available to you right now. Meet Marcus. Marcus is 32 years old. He has a credit score of 720. He has $20,000 available across 2 credit cards, both at 0% promotional APR for 18 months. Marcus does not have billions, but Marcus understands the borrow principle. Marcus uses his $20,000 in available credit to fund the startup costs of a pressure washing business, equipment, marketing, insurance, first 3 months of operations. By month 4, his business is generating $8,000 a month in revenue. His costs are $3,000. He is netting $5,000 a month. By month 6, he has paid back the $20,000 in credit. His business, which cost him nothing out of pocket, is now worth $60,000 to $80,000 if he sold it. He borrowed. He built an asset. He did not sell his time. He built something that generates without him. That is, buy, borrow. at the everyday level. Step 3. Die. This is the step that turns a strategy into a dynasty. When you die, and your assets pass to your heirs, the IRS resets the cost basis of everything you owned to its current market value. This is called the stepped-up basis. What it means in plain English, every dollar of appreciation you built during your lifetime is wiped from the tax record at death. Your heirs inherit at today's value, not what you paid. Today's value. Buy, borrow, die, repeat. For generations. You do not need $40 billion to start using this strategy. You need 3 things. 1. An asset. 2. A plan to borrow strategically. 3. Time and the discipline to hold. Every asset you build, hold it as long as possible. Let it compound. Borrow against it when you need to grow. Never sell unless you absolutely have to. The scale is different. The principles are identical. Start where you are. Use what you have. Build what lasts. Sovereign wealth. If this opened your eyes, drop a comment right now. Tell me, are you closer to the Marcus stage, the Sarah stage? Or are you still figuring out step 1? Subscribe. Share this with one person who needs to hear it. Sovereign wealth. Build it. Keep it. Pass it on.